In this module on sequences and series, we're going to look at arithmetic sequences. A number pattern is also called a sequence. Now we want to determine the nth term or the nth formula for an arithmetic sequence. The property of an arithmetic sequence is that the difference between the terms is a constant. So an arithmetic sequence is a sequence where the difference between consecutive terms remains constant. Now we're going to use the letter A for the first term and the letter D for the constant difference. Now if the first term is T1, and the second term is T2, and the third term T3, and so on, then the first difference is T2 minus T1, or T3 minus T2, or T4 minus T3. Now, if these differences are the same, then we say that the difference is a constant and we use the letter D. Let's consider the sequence 2, 5, 8, 11, and 14. The constant difference between these terms is 3. Plus 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, or 5 minus 2 is 3, and the same 8 minus 5. So you get a constant difference of plus 3 between the consecutive terms. Therefore, D is equal to 3. A is the first term, and that's equal to 2. To get the second term, if you start with the first term 2, then you add 1D, 1, 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5. If you want to get to the third term, and you start with the first term, 2 plus 2 times 3. 6 plus 2, that's equal to 8. To get the fourth term, you add 3 3's, 3 D's. To get term number 5, which is 14, you start with term 2 and you add 5 minus 1, 4 constant differences of 3. Now the nth term is then the first term, A, plus n minus 1 constant differences of D. The general formula for the nth term of an arithmetic sequence is therefore the first term A plus n minus 1 times the constant difference D. In this example, we're going to calculate the value of term 36 in the arithmetic sequence, where the first term is 1 and the second term minus 2 and the third term minus 5. So we know that A is equal to 1. The difference between the terms is minus 3. It decreases by minus 3, or T2 minus T1 is minus 3, and that's the constant difference of D. We're first going to determine the general term of this sequence, and you write the formula down, and then you substitute the values of A and D. Put D in brackets, minus 3, and multiply the brackets out. Minus 3n plus 3, and simplify. So the formula is minus 3n plus 4. To determine term 36, you just replace n with 36. So that's equal to minus 3 times 36 plus 4. Use your calculator and you get minus 104. In this example, the last term, minus 150, is given, and therefore we can determine the number of terms in this arithmetic sequence. A is given, A is equal to minus 2. The constant difference between the terms is minus 6 minus 2, which is minus 4. And you can see that the terms decreases by minus 4, and therefore D is minus 4. Again, we're going to determine the nth term of this sequence, and we're going to substitute D and A. And then we're going to simplify the formula. So you say minus 4n plus 4, and that's minus 4n plus 2. You now know that minus 150 is Tn, so you substitute in the place of T minus 150, and that's equal to minus 4n plus 2. 4n is therefore equal to 125, and then you divide by 4 on both sides, and n is equal to 38, and therefore there are 38 terms in this arithmetic sequence. In this last example, the terms are expressions with an unknown variable x, and the first question is to determine the value of x. We use the property of an arithmetic sequence where we know that the first difference is a constant. Therefore, we know that T2 minus T1 is the same as T3 minus T2. So we're going to make an equation and solve for x. So T2 is 2x plus 1 minus T1, and put T1 in brackets, x minus 1. Then you simplify the bracket, multiply with minus 1, it became minus x plus 1. On the right hand side, it's T3 minus T2, and you simplify minus 2x, and minus times plus 1 is minus 1. When you simplify the right hand side, it's 3x minus 2, and if you simplify the left hand side, 2x minus x is x, 1 plus 1 is 2. And then you solve for x, you get 2x equals 4, and therefore the value for x is 2. So you've determined the value of x by setting up an equation where the difference between the terms is a constant. To determine the formula for the nth term, you can now use the value of x and substitute it to determine the terms. So in this case, T1 is therefore x minus 1, 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. T2 is 2 times x, 2 times 2 plus 1, which is 5. T3 is 5 times 2 minus 1, 9. So the sequence is 1, 5, and 9. The general term, a plus n minus 1d, substitute a1 and d4 and simplify, and therefore the nth term is 4n minus 3.